And here we are with episode number 6 of the Wrestling Roundtable podcast. I'm Ryan Hall, Dominique LaRue joining us as always. And Dominique, welcome to the program again, my brother.
What's up, my brother? How are you?
Doing great, doing great. I want to start with a pretty blunt question. And it's something that's been really kind of on my mind because last Monday night, we saw the first, quote, heel promo from John Cena in almost 25 years. My question is this: was it really a heel promo? Or was it something a little deeper than that?
As I dissected the promo over the week, at first I said it to you. When he did the promo initially, I was like, what in the world is this? Like, what is this? Cody comes out and like you pointed it out. It was like you see how the light was on Cody, like the hero coming out, and John Cena's in the darkness. And then like he comes out and he tells John like you're being a whiny bee,
Yep.
and like if you come to the WrestleMania and not be John Cena, like I don't want to fight this whiny little girl, like whiny little bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it kind of made John Cena weak in a sense. But when I went back and I didn't even look at I didn't even listen to the promo over again. But I kind of like started going down this rabbit hole of what he said, and everything he said in that promo was absolutely true. And even though we might not like it as wrestling fans and community or whatever, it's like he basically took a mirror and was like, look at yourselves. You sit here and you bash me, you dog me out, you say Cena sucks, Cena, you need to leave, blah, blah, blah. But yet you're buying my merchandise. You made me the blunt of your joke for 20 some years. And yet all I've done is I've worked my tail off. I give you everything I got. I literally have just torn stuff off my bone just for your approval. And all you've done is throw it back in my face. And every time I've done it, I've won. I've literally done everything possible that a superstar can do in this ring. And I'm the most decorated superstar of all time. And yet you praise other people. And yet you finally want me to turn heel. And I finally turned heel. And that's not good enough for you. So it's like, no matter what I do, it's not good enough. So now I'm just like, I'm not going to give you what you want because you want me to turn heel. I'm who I want to be. I'm a human being. I'm not going to give you no new music. I'm not going to give you a new style in a sense. I mean, it's really the ultimate heel turn because it's like, I'm going to be a heel, but on my terms, not on your terms. So, and also, I just went down even more of a rabbit hole and I started looking at, like, dissecting the pictures and stuff he was, like, posting and, like, saying things he was saying. And then it kind of made sense with, so he posted, one that really caught my eye was Denzel when he played in Training Day. And, like, he was cricket cop, obviously, but it was, in a sense, he was a cricket cop, but he was like doing his job and being cricket because it's like he was playing both sides of the badge in a sense. And then he posted Harvey Dent from one of my favorite movies of all time, The Dark Knight Rises. Well, no, that's the third one. I'm sorry, The Dark Knight. And with The Dark Knight, it's interesting because he posted Harvey Dent and he posted the Joker. And if anybody remembers in that movie, okay, Harvey Dent eventually turns Two-Face. But with Harvey Dent, he was working with the cops and he was trying to put criminals in jail and working with Batman and all this. And all it took was one accident where his face burned off and the love of his life had died, which was also Batman's love. And then it turned him. And then with the Joker, you know, he was already chaotic. Joker was more of a, he kind of put me in a sense of what Bray Wyatt was trying to be, like the quote unquote villain, but he kind of pulls the darkness out of you in a sense. Like, look at you, you're trying to be in the light all the time, and like you're not really like the quote unquote hero when you have a little darkness in you too. So, you know, that's how he turned Harvey Dent into Two-Face. He nudged that blade in him, like, hey, look at all this chaos. Like, you know, you can't control the chaos. Either you embrace it or you kind of just fade away in it. And then the quote that really struck in that movie is, you either live long enough to become the villain, or you die being a hero. So that kind of played in the factor of me kind of like looking into all of what John was talking about and what he's going with, and it's kind of more of a, in a sense, it's going to be a, like you said, it's going to be layers. It's layers to this, but then also I feel like it's going to be a very psychological ride. We're finna go on with this whole ride to WrestleMania, but then also the retirement ride that we're going on
for the whole rest of the year.
For the whole rest of the year. So
yeah. You know, speaking of movies, I feel like the movie that comes to mind the most for me, one of my favorite movies of all time, called Network. Came out in 1976. It's an old movie, but I really believe that it still stands up today. And the most famous line from that movie is, "I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore." And I really feel like there was a lot of that was coming up in that promo, because it wasn't a traditional, you know, the fans can stick it kind of promo like we got from Hulk Hogan when he turned, when we got from Stone Cold Steve Austin when he mistakenly turned. It wasn't a traditional kind of, you know, the fans can stick it kind of promo. It was layers. It was like, I was, as I was watching it, I was thinking, is this, are they really going to go the whiny route here? But it makes sense. It makes sense because he's put in over 2 decades in this role of the hustle, loyalty, and respect. It's made him a fortune. It has made him an absolute fortune. He's got he holds the record for most Make-A-Wish kids, but it was never good enough to get him the cheers. And I'm just kind of speaking from the character John Cena, maybe not the human being John Cena here, but from the character John Cena, because if he keeps doing this stuff, if he keeps working, if he keeps, you know, making the company so much money and the fans still boo him, that's gonna piss somebody off, you know?
yeah, most definitely. Because it's like, you know, he set the record for the most Make-A-Wish. He set the record, you know, winning titles. He, you know, he's up there with the most elimination chamber matches, Royal Rumble matches. You know, the list goes on, and yet you rather cheer for, you know, Cody Rhodes. I mean, like, he comes back, you know, you want to finish the story for his father. Like, R.I.P. Dusty Rhodes, we love him to death. And, you know, we speak as far as like the character, right? So Cody leaves, right?
Yep.
He gone. He goes starts a new company. This, that, and the third. CM Punk leaves. Drew leaves. All these people leave, and yet I stay here. I stay put. I'm the one that has literally carried the company on my back while other people leave. And then, quote unquote, he talks about The Rock leaving for Hollywood, and then he turns around and does it. So then that's another ammunition that the fans want to jump on and like blah 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 blah. But he gives you literally everything you want, and it's still not good enough.
Yeah.
You want him to leave when you've been saying Cena sucks for all these years, and like literally cheer for him whenever he has a downfall, and then when he finally kind of like you know started slowly moving out the door, like I'm finna get retired, I'm finna retire, whatever. It's like no, 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 don't leave. And then some people like yeah, leave, please. And then it's like
You already.
yeah, it's like what do you want from me? Like so I'm starting to see now where they're going with this direction, and it's brilliant to be honest.
Yes. 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 And it's not a paint by numbers kind of thing. It's not a paint by numbers kind of thing because it's like you said, he's like in his position, he's been with the company for almost a quarter century. He's never wrestled in AEW or TNA or wherever. He's always been a loyal WWE guy. And you know, I'm reminded of the what was it? I think it was the second ECW one night stand show, or it might have been the first. I can't remember. It's been a minute, but it was John Cena in the main event against Rob Van Dam at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City, the heart of ECW territory. And they cooked him over an open flame that night. Like, you remember when he took off his t-shirt and threw it into the crowd, they threw it right back to him. They roasted him. And but he was the one, and I'm talking maybe the human being, John Cena here. He was the one willing to take those hits and walk into that, kind of just super hostile atmosphere. And they've been booing him ever since.
I'm
And
talking about like nuclear heat. We talk about like I don't think nobody in the company can ever touch the heat that John Cena gets. Because like we say Dom and we say the New Day now what they did with Big E, but I, John has been carrying that torch for a long time.
yeah, yeah. And I really think this is going to be, it's almost like it's going to, I think it's going to end up being just a total psychological mind F because that this, like, it's not again, it's not the traditional, you know, the fans can go stick it kind of promo.
And it's not like a you know heel versus face. It's not. uh I want the title. You know, I've been dreaming of the title, this, that, the third, or whatever, whatever. It shifted from Cena going for 17 to like I, I hate going into the match thinking like it's guaranteed that Cena's going to win the belt. Like I never want to go into a match, any match in WrestleMania, and know the outcome of it. And this feel like one. The Tiffany and Charlotte kind of feels like one.
We're
To
gonna
be
get
honest,
to that. We're gonna get to that segment though.
yeah, Jay, and if you would ask me before this with John Cena, I would have said Jay's gonna win it. But now I'm like, I I don't really know. And I actually got some ideas about that match, which I'm sure we might get on
Sure.
in a
Yeah.
minute. But yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be a guarantee. And then the triple threat with the women, I would have said it would be Bianca, but now it's kind of like, to be honest, I don't even know. To be honest.
Yeah.
And then with the whole Jade situation with Bianca, she got that going on, and then Rhea, probably mommy is going to come on top because I mean, like she's starting to build that momentum to like the fans want to rally behind her because it's like she's on her own and she got tired of being the friend to everybody. But then you got Io Sky not getting the respect that she deserves. It's like I'm undefeated against you, Rhea. So it's like, yo, this is it's getting good as far as like storylines going.
It really is. It really is. Well,
Besides the Charlotte, of course, but
yeah. Yeah, well, at least we say about that, the better, I think. Let's talk a little about that Charlotte and and Tiffany promo because I think Tiffany Stratton, the more that they're kind of unfolding this character, the more that I think that they're pushing her a little too soon because she is getting absolutely cooked by Charlotte here. Now, in terms of like putting a match together, they definitely, they're, it's like an oil and water kind of thing. But when it comes to, but when it, because that promo segment, it was like you could almost tell that she was like that Tiffany was reading cue card. That's not, they are not doing her any favors at all with this. And it would be a stunning surprise, an absolutely stunning surprise if Charlotte doesn't go over on that match.
yeah, ditto. And I mean, my thoughts on it is that obviously Tiffany got to get better on the promos, but the fact that it seemed like Charlotte didn't even want to pick, it was more of a layup after the whole Rio situation, and then the fact that not only did Charlotte pick her, it's like she's in a sense bullying Tiffany. And I wish if anything, if you're gonna build up Tiffany, Tiffany is the obviously the youngest out of the two.
Right.
She's more athletic. She's more charismatic in a sense, where like she got that Barbie sense to her, but I feel as though she could be kind of snobby more to Charlotte. Like, you come in, like everybody, like I'm the queen, I'm this, I'm that, and whatever. And I feel like Tiffany should be like, yeah, sure, you got all these accolades, but physically in the ring, I'm more opposing to you because I'm quicker, fast, kind of like a Bianca type, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm faster, I'm stronger, I'm this and that, like, but I'm not getting that from Tiffany. I'm getting more of a, like, I won the title, but then Charlotte points out, yeah, but you cashed in. Like that's like a give me. That's not like you actually earned that title. And now you finna really earn it when you face me in the ring, and I'ma basically demolish you in that ring. I'm gonna
Yeah.
pop the floor with you, basically, in a sense. That's what I'm getting from this feud. And
If
like you
you can
said,
call it that.
promo, it was like you do a nice little backflip, and now you're basically me. Like you do one move and you're me. So now, in a sense, Tiffany got the perfect backflip, but like, okay, which this is tie into Jay. So I feel like if anything, if Tiffany want to stick it to Charlotte, then I need Tiffany to have like a submission move. Kind of in the sense of the finger four, but not really. Now, would it be dope? And if they get this from us, kudos to WWE, sign us up. I know they got the writer position open up, but If I'm not mistaken, did Ricky Steamboat have a submission move? If I'm not mistaken, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't believe I'm kind of blanking on it if it was.
But if he did, wouldn't that be ironic and very funny in a sense? If Ricky had like a submission move, right? And like, Ricky was Ric Flair's, arch enemy in a sense, like he's his,
Hmm?
so wouldn't that be ironic if she like takes a move from Ricky Steamboat and uses it against Charlotte?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
But that's only if Ricky does have a submission
Yeah.
move. But that's really, I ain't even gonna lie, that's really all I got for that match. It's definitely in the least of anticipated matches for me. So
Which is a shame, I think,
it's a shame.
because the match.
I've always been excited for Charlotte's matches because it either include Becky, it included Bailey, it included Sasha, it included like any of the four horsewomen, or like by far me personally, like the greatest match I probably seen of Charlotte and I liked is either the triple threat that she had with Sasha and I think was it Becky at Dallas when they crowned them the first Raw Women's champ.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the triple threat was her, Becky, and Ronda. That was a great one too. Because the
Yes, it was.
build-up was like it was crazy because it was like, you had Charlotte and Ronda in the cop car fighting, and like, you already had that story between her and Becky, but then you build on it with Ronda because nobody in the women's roster really even, you know, like Ronda like that. But it was just so many combustible elements in that match. So and it
And
made a good match.
yeah, yeah, it made a really good match. Kind of a shame that match was at the end of a 19-hour WrestleMania show.
Yes, which caused them to like really dissect and think about just doing two nights, which I am very glad that they did that.
Good.
So
But be that as it may, I definitely get your point. Um, because like if you could bring out a, you know, like a just kind of a darker side of Tiffany.
yeah, I need a
I would,
tougher, like
yeah,
edgier side.
because she's getting bullied. She's getting bullied. We said it last week. We said it the last few weeks. She's getting bullied and she looks terrible. And it's not exactly conducive, I believe, to a prime match at the biggest show of the year. And that, they got to fix that.
And who would have said something like that about a Charlotte Flair match? Like she's getting closer to her dad's record as well. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This whole thing is just, it's a problem, I think.
Yeah.
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 It's a problem because the match in the ring could be a banger, but it's got absolutely no heat behind it.
It barely got a simmer at this point.
I know, I know, and that's a problem.
For us, it don't. It might be for other people in the wrestling community, but I, I look forward to the other storylines going on than this one. It's more like it feels like a filler match, basically.
Yeah, it's It's a go to the concession stand match to get
It's
another
go
beer.
to
It's a
go
good,
to the
it's a bathroom break match.
yeah, it's a go to the crap table, in Vegas, and
Yeah,
play you a couple numbers and stuff for you get
yeah,
back to the real action.
yeah. Go play a shoe at the blackjack table. I mean,
Yeah.
um, and Charlotte Flair is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and we're talking
Yeah.
about that kind of energy with a Charlotte Flair match.
They
That's
literally booed her. They booed her when she won the Royal Rumble. Like her winning the Royal Rumble is one of the most disliked videos on their YouTube page.
yeah, I know, I know, yeah,
I hate it. I just hate it because I was excited for her to come back, and I am excited that she's
yeah.
back. It's just like I rather would have got her and Rhea going at it again than her and Tiffany at this point.
Yeah. I think the only real saving grace out of the way this Tiffany and Charlotte thing is going is that if Tiffany loses at WrestleMania, which I'm pretty sure she's gonna lose.
Like what do you do with the kid? Like it hurts. Like in this match, like we always like try to figure out like who does it help and who does it hurt. It it does nothing for Charlotte other than add another number to her record. But then it hurts Tiffy because it's like you didn't really you didn't really defend your belt going into WrestleMania for real, for real. I mean, like you've been defended against. I can't even remember who she defended the title. Did she defend it tonight?
Now, um,
But like,
is about it from what I can think of. Yeah.
and that's about it. And then even then, it was like a fluke defense because I think it was a little bit of interference or something. I don't
Mhm.
know. I can't remember. But that just shows you how bad it is. Like I can't even remember her title defense. And then you fight Nia with Trish and Candice, and it's like you don't really have you don't have no momentum going into WrestleMania.
None whatsoever. None whatsoever. And like,
It's just,
yeah, like I feel
you
like the
think,
only kind of bright side on that is that if once she loses at WrestleMania, if they can portray her as like the ultimate kind of plucky baby face, and against Charlotte being the unstoppable kind of monster heel, if they can portray her like that, like we say, some people are better chasers, some people are better title holders. Um, if they can do that with Tiffany, maybe it could work and she can get her heat back. But right now, it's yeah, I don't know.
pretty much the only saving grace I can see is if Becky makes an appearance and try to make it a triple threat at this point.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, and that's a shame because she's been gone for a year.
Exactly.
And I love Becky Lynch, don't get me wrong, but right now she's got absolutely no heat because she hadn't been in the company for a year.
But I mean, it's not like we ain't seen her come back and beat somebody in 3 seconds, which didn't make any absolute sense. But you know,
Ugh. Yeah, yeah. This has been a weird WrestleMania build in a lot of ways, I think.
yeah. But I think with Triple H's reign, I feel like we in good hands. Some things that don't make sense are eventually going to make sense. So it's not like the old regime where it was like absolutely, it was everything that didn't make sense was just
Yeah.
cluster on top of cluster on top of cluster to the point where it was just like, you know what, whatever. So
Just, get the Purell and just wash your hands of the whole thing.
yeah, it's just all right. Well, let's move on. Hopefully we get something that we want. So
Yeah, exactly.
you know,
One spot that I really like though is this triple threat with Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins.
yes, I'm glad we're finna get talking to this because wow, what a way to end SmackDown last Friday night.
Oh man. I mean, it's kind of a shame, and I'm a huge CM Punk fan. I always have been, even when I was making fun of them in AEW. But it's a shame that it's not the Shield three-way.
Yeah, that would have been. Oh, that would have been. I'm still holding out. I'm still holding out hope for John Moxley to come back close to the end of all three careers, and they just duke it out one good time to retire. But
If Moxley doesn't get killed in the ring first,
yeah, if he don't fall on those spikes on his head or some craziness.
uh,
Um, yeah, like to be honest, when I think about it, I mean, what better way to have at least two out of the three in the ring with the guy they took out to start? Well, they took out Ryback, but really the guy that really started it all because he was supposed to be in the Shield. He was supposed to be the leader of the Shield, actually. So that's a good callback. And then, oh man, so many layers to this. It's like
you've got Punk's connection with Paul Heyman. Don't
you
forget.
got Punk's connection with Paul Heyman. You got Roman's connection with Seth Rollins. You got Rollins with CM Punk. You got CM Punk connection to Paul, which is connected with Roman. But then you got the favor that is like a black cloud over that, which I think, and I know a lot of people in the community thinks that favor is either going to be Paul can make that triple threat into a number one contender match for the night 2 of John Cena and Cody. That's what they think.
Okay.
Me personally, I think, don't get me wrong. Now, granted, by all means, I would love for it to be a triple threat between Cody and John, or even Jay and Gunther, to be honest. But let's just face it. They got to be main event night 1. I hate to say it. I'm riding with Jay. I'm all for Jay.
Same.
Jay even came out and said, like, it don't matter if he's the first match, the main event, the middle, whatever the case may be, he's going in and leaving out as the world heavyweight champion. He don't care. And as much as we'd love to end the night of night 1 with Jay winning that title and yeeting,
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, if you're going to start the show off with a bang, it will probably have to be Jay, because you'll get the crowd hype. They'll be so excited. And then that triple threat has to end in something big. So,
yeah.
and I mean, it's 3 big names in the match anyway.
Yeah, no, 3 of the biggest names in the whole game right now.
So it's like, it got to be the main event. It got to. And it's either got Paul Heyman screwing Roman, Paul Heyman managing to make that match into a number one contenders match, to slide into John Cena and Cody's, or like I've seen something online. It's a lot of people thinking that, not a lot, but it's quite a few thinking that Paul might turn on Roman and go with Seth Rollins of all people.
Really?
Yeah, I was shocked to even see that. I'm like, Seth Rollins? No, I can't really see Paul, being a advocate for somebody that dress up like a Teletubby or something. I don't know. I just can't see that. Like, look at all the guys he followed. The Big Show, CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. Like, I've never seen them dressed like Seth, so I just can't. Oh. I can't see him do that.
I don't see it either.
I can see CM Punk. Yeah. I can see Brock Lesnar showing up, and we get Brock somehow. But I can't see Seth. I can't see Paul teaming up with Seth. So
and who knows, it may even actually happen. I doubt it, but
right. That'll be that'll be the chair pull from under our asses. So
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. That like I still and they're mentioning that whole quote the favor angle. They're mentioning that on TV. They're not just kind of
yep.
so there's I kind of feel like the chalk answer is Paul Heyman turning on Roman and siding with CM Punk, but that's kind of the predictable answer. So I couldn't tell you.
And you know what? It's kind of interesting that CM Punk, he's just such a maestro on the mic. Just the fact that he came out and he said, "Paul, my friend, good to see you. I'm so glad that you brought me Roman on the silver platter." Like he's playing mind games with Roman.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's like you already know Roman. He ain't too fond of being backstabbed. He got backstabbed by Seth. He got backstabbed by um, Sami Zayn. I mean, like he got backstabbed. I mean, not necessarily backstabbed. I mean, it was coming. I mean, Jimmy super kicked the crap out of him. The super kick her around the world. So it's like, Roman don't do too fun with just trusting people. So
yeah, and you don't blame him.
and I mean, you can't blame him. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm definitely like my initial thought. I'm kind of with you. Was you got to close night one with Jay winning that title, but maybe you open up one of the nights, maybe night two with that title, because to get the kind of the good vibes going,
yeah,
and then totally cut your face off by the end of the main event with John Cena standing over Cody Rhodes with that title.
yeah. And by the way, is it shocking to you that he never mentioned anything about The Rock in his promo? Like why he turned, why he joined The Rock, why like nothing was mentioned of why he chose to side with The Rock.
Or is it a case of what's the number one rule of Fight Club is we don't talk about Fight
Never
Club?
mentioned Fight Club. Yeah. So and
Yeah.
then I thought about that too. I was like, he did mention joining The Rock, but initially Rock wanted Cody, correct?
Yes.
He wanted Cody as a corporate champion. So is it crazy to believe that maybe what if John don't win the title? And what if Cody, what if we get a double turn? Is it possible? Because if you go play with our minds already about John Cena being quote unquote a heel, but he perceives himself as being a human being. So what if we always said in the group? We've always said Cody needs to turn heel. Cody needs to crash out and be Homelander.
Yeah.
So, what if maybe I don't know. What if John maybe plays with Cody's mind to the point where it makes Cody think maybe I need to turn, because what if he hits him with the, because he did say in his promo, he said, I was your shiny new toy. I was your bright toy that you you just latched on for all these years. And then eventually when I dried up, you just threw me away. And now you moved on to a new toy. So what if he throws that at Cody's face and gets Cody's mind? Because it's writing on the wall. It's CM Punk talking to Cody, talking about, I'm worried about you, my friend. You're looking kind of looking like you kind of cracking, and like, you know, I'm gonna be the only friend that really just looks you dead in your eyes and say, I'm gonna stab you in the front. And then you got Kevin Owens snapping on him, speaking the truth. Then you got John Cena, the ultimate GOAT, the guy that has carried the company for, I mean, actually just the Tom Brady of the WWE. He's basically carried the company for these many years, and he finally cracked. So who's to say you're not next in line?
Yeah, because no. Cody Rhodes, if he turns heel, if they do like a WrestleMania 14 where Bret Hart and Stone Cold both turned heel, both turned on each other in the same match, Bret going heel, Stone Cold turning babyface, one can say that was the start of the Attitude era right there, number one. But number two is that I don't think there's anybody out there that believes that John Cena is going to retire as a heel.
Oh no, no.
Um, but at the same time, I feel like an angle, I don't know if that would work for WrestleMania. It would be compelling as hell. I just don't know if it would really work for WrestleMania because an angle that I think that they need to really play up is John Cena is not is a middle-aged man in a young man's game. He hasn't been full time for many years. He's almost 48 years old. He's a middle-aged man in a young man's game, and you're trying to beat a guy who is at the tip top of his game. What is Cody? 37, 38, something like that? Like he's at the top of it. Yeah, like he's at the top of his game right now.
Yeah.
And could anybody beat John Cena when John Cena was in his mid 30s? Absolutely not. I mean, granted,
But
Super Cena, but still.
but can anybody beat John Cena? A middle aged John Cena, almost 50, with, you know, the final boss in the background and quote unquote Travis Scott, but really just the final boss. I mean, like he's he could pop up anywhere. He could pop up like before the match and beat the holy hell out of Cody, and then throw him in there, and they just make that until like, I mean, that'd be a terrible way to end the show. That'd be a terrible way. But then who's to say the final boss don't get involved and he makes himself a special referee? We don't know. It's just like,
Yeah,
it's just
you really don't. And traditionally, the last, you traditionally in these big shows, and this was one of Vince McMahon's big kind of, mantra, so to speak, was send the fans home happy in these big shows. Hulk Hogan posing with the Ultimate Warrior, that kind of thing. The confetti falling down on Chris Benoit's head. I mean, you've got, you know, that's kind of the WrestleMania sort of formula. But at the same time, if they go with John Cena, the ultimate heel, and I think he's going to get worse as we get closer to WrestleMania.
oh yeah.
But John Cena is the ultimate heel standing tall at the end of WrestleMania. I think it's got to, I think if they go with like a total beatdown kind of angle, the fans are going to riot. And not the good kind of riot either. I'm talking about throwing trash in the ring. I'm talking about absolutely ripping them to shreds online for what that's worth. I mean, You gotta play it right. Is all I'm saying.
You definitely got to play it right because as much money they paying to see WrestleMania in Vegas, yeah, I think it'd be advised to send the fans home very happy.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And could that mean, after John Cena, wipes everybody out and wins the title, the lights go dark, you hear the breaking glass, and then Stone Cold Steve Austin comes down to the ring and stunners everybody. Um, the Undertaker's gone. Do we do something like that, kind of the fan service? Um, because because if they and that's kind of what I was saying the whole time about you've got to end night one with the feel good thing, because night two was gonna piss everybody off.
yeah. So either way, yeah, we gotta have that because like okay, if you think about it, if you end night one and then kind of like a total flip because what did we get last year? We got going home pissed off first night, then we went home happy the second night. So what if they do a vice versa and give us a total coin flip?
Same thing with WrestleMania 39 too. You had the big feel
Yeah,
good with KO and Sami Zayn winning the tag titles over the Usos.
and Cody lost.
And then Cody lost and somebody threw a rubber chicken into the ring.
Iconic, by the way.
Exactly.
So it's yeah, I'm sure it's about time for that. But I think it is about time because why not end it? But then in 42, we get that iconic. Back last time we was in New Orleans, Daniel Bryan ended the show winning the belt.
Yeah.
Michael Cole, with that great call. So,
Yeah.
but since we are talking about sending the fans home happy, I'm glad you did that because I got a good segue into my thoughts on what is needed to do a better build with Jay going into the Gunther match.
Talk to me.
So I've been really thinking about this, and once again, I hate it's the greatest movie, one of the greatest sports movies of all time, but Rocky. Okay, so they did it with Sami Zayn, but I feel like they need to do a little twist with Jay. Um, so Gunther has been going in on Jay, and rightfully so. He's been speaking facts about I'll run circles around you. All you are is a puppet. You're a clown selling T-shirts and this and that, and I'm like the ring general, and Gunther is the ring general. Like he does put on great matches, and we've said this on the pod. We said this in the group numerous times that his title reign hasn't been that well in the sense of his IC title reign. And granted, I don't want it to be this way. I definitely don't. Like, I want Jay to win. But in order for me to feel like as though he's got a chance to beat Gunther after you lost to Gunther at least 2 times, I believe, 2, 3. Um, my feeling is if you're gonna build Jay, I need Jay to pull out all the stops. I need you to, and I've said this in the group. I said I'm sick and tired of seeing Jay and Jimmy use Roman moves. Okay, like I love the fact that Jay has, the Rock's move in his arsenal. That's giving homage. He's paying homage to his relative. That's fine because we don't see that often no more. The spear, the fact that Michael Cole called this move a crossbody, and you want to tell us as wrestler fans who've seen moves numerous times, night in and night out, that it was a spear. Come on, that thing was a crossbody, and for it to end in 3 seconds is crazy to me. That was probably the biggest horrible botch, alongside of him doing a front flip, I've ever seen in my life. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna need Jay to either go back and find what's his name, Dragunov, because Dragunov is in the PC, recovering from his knee injury and this and that. I need
Ilya
yeah,
Dragunov.
yeah. So I need Ilya, like as he's recovering and rehabbing and all this. He's one of the guys that has pushed Gunther to the limit. I believe beat Gunther too for the UK title, I believe. But I need him to work with him. I need Jay to learn some submission moves. I need him to learn some counter moves to kind of like. I wish that Daniel Bryan was still in the WWE spectrum, because like that would have been perfect. He working with Daniel, because Daniel is like a submission god.
Mm-hmm.
But like I need somebody in that sense to work with Jay to kind of prepare him and get him ready for Gunther. And then I need Jay to crash out. I mean, when was going to get crash out Jay? Because this man has interrupted you when you finna get ready to go fight Austin Theory. Like you coming down, oh yeah, 4 letters, 2 like that. And then it's like Gunther just pops up and like, see, that's what I'm talking about. You this, that, and the third. And it's like, come on, man. And then after the match, this man is coming out choking you out. Like, I need you to lace them Air Forces up and let's get the crashing out. Because WrestleMania is right around the corner. And I'm not believing the hype anymore if Gunther is going to keep trying to punk you on the way to WrestleMania.
Yeah. No, I feel like I love that. Like, I love that scenario because, I mean, Jay is never going to be mistaken for a Daniel Bryan or a Shawn Michaels type, right?
Right.
That's not his game. That's not his moveset. But at the same time, it's kind of like going back to the whole, Tiffy Charlotte thing. Gunther's been bullying that man. He's been bullying that man. Now, granted, it feels a little bit more in character for him, but he's been bullying that man. And, just like, to use your Rocky analogy, just like Apollo Creed did to Rocky during that whole build. Just
Yep.
just like Ivan Drago did.
Yep.
There has to be some kind of a believability, and it can't be like a fluke when and if Jay wins this title. It can't be a fluke. It's got to be earned, because there's no catharsis in it being just kind of a fluky sort of like roll up kind of win. It's got to be decisive.
It got to be gritty.
Got to be gritty. It's got to be decisive. It's got to be Jay standing proud over Gunther's prone body.
And really getting that respect that he deserves from Gunther. Because, I mean, like, at the end of the day, he took him to the limit Saturday night main event. But it's like ever since then, and you literally seen it in Gunther's face. It was just like, oh, wow. Like, he took me to the limit. But then it's like a switch went off, and it was like, that didn't even matter no more. Like, you're still a pawn in their advertisement, Ben. You go around and in these bright colors and in doing this one word, and your moveset is trash compared to mine. Basically, is what he's.
You're nothing but a catchphrase.
You're nothing but a catchphrase. Yes. So now I need, like, if anything, if we're gonna get another beatdown by Gunther, we needed like a certified beatdown. We needed certified beatdown to the point where Jay don't even make it to the ring. He does his clap before he starts the night off. Like, hey, yeah, we in such and such, And I'm talking about, boom, here comes Gunther right behind him, just drugging him. And he drags them all down the stairs. The kids are like, it's one of those, like, I mean, we said it in the group before, F them kids, basically, moment where Gunther, like, rip his yeet shirt off and, like, just holding it. I mean, I don't like to get like this, but I mean, set the shirt on fire if he needs to. Just really beats the holy crap out of Jay to the point where Jay has to literally crash out. I'm talking about
throw him in a dumpster.
Yeah,
like, throw him in a garbage dumpster. Yeah.
Shawn Michaels crashed out. Like, he was super kicking everybody in the arena one time. So I need Jay to, like, oh no, Gunther ain't gonna do me like this. Oh no. And then it's like, hey, calm down, Jay. No, this ain't like you. And he just super kicking everybody. And then it's like, if anything, go to Roman. Learn a submission from Roman, because Roman does the that move he did. He was doing it for a while during the Thunderdome, where he'll put him in that submission hold and just go down with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if Jay learns that, I'll be satisfied. But either way, I need Jay to learn. Like, I'm not saying scrap everything you've done to get here, but just sprinkle in some more moves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got. I like where your head's at on that. Because, like, right now, like, I love Jey Uso. I want to see him beat Gunther. I really do, and how much I love Gunther. I loved Walter even more, but that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah, Walter was a bad man. So.
Yeah. I mean, his mama actually called him Walter. But my point is that, before I get off onto a tangent there, my point is that Jay he needs to be believable. He needs to, like, people need to be able to believe that he can beat Gunther. And right now, nobody thinks he can. I mean, that squash match that he had on Raw last week did him no favors. Now, I get that was because the timing got all messed up because of the John Cena segment. But
I just wish Cole would have not said what he said. I wish Cole would have just like, oh, it just ended like that. But he said crossbody, a crossbody.
Was a freaking. All right. Yeah, I mean, we've got about 3 weeks left. And coming up in future episodes, I think we need to, I'd love to do a predictions episode.
Oh, I love that. You know me, I got mine. So.
Oh yeah. But before we wrap up here today, and we kind of alluded to it earlier, we got to talk about that absolutely ridiculous spot from that AEW show the other day. Now, I don't want to go into detail because I don't want to get too gory, but it was one of the most ridiculous things I have ever seen. Jon Moxley took a 2x4 that had like nails or spikes or something, nailed into it. And Edge, I'm still going to call him Edge. I refuse to call him Cope. Hit him in the back. No, he suplexed him on that board. And I don't want to go into detail because you can watch the video for yourself, but it was one of the most disgusting things I have ever seen.
Back body drop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, I get that some people enjoy watching that kind of stuff. I mean, some of those like Japanese death matches have their place. Some of the crazy stuff that they did in ECW have their place. But that's not why I loved ECW. I loved ECW because it was the first time that we met people like Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Psychosis, all of the guys putting on 5-star matches. Do you really need that kind of stuff? I mean, I get that they're trying, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this because I could go off for hours on this, but I get I get the idea of being an alternative, but at the same time, is dropping somebody onto a bed of fluorescent light bulbs really wrestling, or is it just shock value?
Ryan, you know my thoughts on AEW and their programming. I love. Okay, I was a fan of AEW when it first opened. Like when it first started the promotion, it was something new, something edgy, something alternative to what we was getting at the time with you know who. But as it got to its second, third year, or whatever, it kind of like derailed itself with the. I started to see the same thing on every night, and that was a problem because my first and only pay per view that I got with AEW was Revolution, I think. Yeah, it was the. It featured one of the greatest matches I've watched with Daniel Bryan. Excuse me,
That was the
Bryan
Daniel Bryan MJF Iron Man, right? Yeah.
The pay per view was great, but my gripe was the fact that I paid $60 to watch literally what I watch on Wednesday night on TBS, and I was like, "Yep, this ain't it. This is the last I will be watching this," because of the fact that I get it. You want to be different from WWE. You want to be edgier, but like you said, with ECW made sense. ECW had nights where you don't get those crazy matches. You get storyline buildup. You get things that make sense to why they went to the extreme to have barbed wire all across the ring and a table outside and the ladder built up and this guy is climbing 50 feet in the air to jump off a balcony into somebody with 20 tables below them. So my gripe is the fact that, okay, with that spot, you build this rivalry up between John Moxley and Edge. I'm going to continue to call him Edge.
Thank you, because that's what I'm going to call him.
Forever live in my mind is Edge. Adam Copeland is the guy outside of Edge. So with Edge being in that ring and y'all are fighting, and it's, I guess, for the title. Yes, I think it was for the title.
It was.
But the fact that y'all are putting y'all bodies on the line in the match, and it's just a regular televised match. And like all this should have been saved for the grand finale, the big moneymaker, event. And it's like,
yes,
it's like, where does the violence stop and the story either begins, ends, or makes sense? Because like, I love violence, but it has to make sense. Like, you've pointed out, is like the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
My favorite match of the year so far.
Kevin Owens pushed Sami to get to that point. It was more of, you tried to take my livelihood away from me. You put me in a foreign, a banned move, and almost took my legs from me. Like, you almost paralyzed me. Right. Then, we fight week on and week out, blah, 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 blah. And to the point where, like, oh, they ain't gonna give me no match. Well, we have an unsanctioned match. Bingo, boom. Now that calls for barbed wire, table, glass, whatever the case may be, because I am trying to hurt you as you tried to hurt me. Boom. And then that was it. But, excuse me, when you sit here and John Moxley, I want to match with you. I want the belt. All right, cool. Bet. Night one, all right, y'all might get a little fighting, boom, 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 boom. And then all of a sudden, the next night, you throwing them through a plate, a glass, or some crap. Like what is this? What are we doing here?
Makes yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like you got poor Penta and his brother. I remember they had some type of match where they landed on some tables and the man like shattered his leg off.
Yep.
Like what are we doing here? Like it's like I don't know whether I'm watching uh, a stunt show or a wrestling match because it's
Do they
like
even know?
do they even know?
Yeah.
And it's like I just wish they need to just scrap everything, redo it, and also it was like my gripe is like you're trying to be different from WWF, and I get it. Excuse me, WWE. You're trying to be different from WWE, and I get that, but it's like you start the match, and I'm watching the match, and it's not even explained about the match. Sometimes it's like, oh, he hit him with a chair, and I'm like, ain't that a disqualification? But it's like you never say it's like a no DQ match. It's like
I,
some regular match, and I'm like, okay, so basically they can get away from hitting each other with a table or like power driving each other or something, or they're like, I don't get it, and it's just so, man, it's so hard. If you're not keeping up with New Japan Wrestling, you won't know anybody that's fighting in that ring, and then if you're not keeping up with the Ring of Honor roster, it's just like I don't even get what's going on with these matches right here. And it's like I don't keep up with TNA, but I know where NXT is going with stuff because it's
yeah.
like okay, oh you from TNA, all right. Well, you know, y'all call yourself the best tag team in the world. We want to fight y'all. I bet. So they build it up, and then boom, now we to that match.
It
I'm just like,
makes sense.
I'm just like
Yeah.
it's too much. It's too much. It's just too much.
It really is. It really is. But to your point, yeah, I'm thinking of, and I've never seen this match, and I have no desire to, but it was the match between Sabu and Terry Funk, where they put barbed wire on the, for the ropes. That was the apparently that was the match that Sabu ripped his bicep open and he
Ooh,
taped it. Yes, that was not just on their regular weekly TV show.
it was on the
That
pay per
was on
view.
a that was a feud blow off at a pay-per-view.
Yeah, and I get it. Like, okay, there's a guy. This guy at my job that he talked about this, and he said one of the greatest matches this year is Tony Storm and the Maya May or something.
Yeah, Mariah. Yeah,
Mariah May, and I get it, okay, because I have seen like clips where they build it up. They
yeah,
Maya May came out as Tony Storm one time, and Tony Storm came out as her, and it was like a great build up to that. But with AEW, the problem is they put too much focus on one or two things that are hot, but they don't make everything else make sense with what's going
yeah.
on. Like you got it's like you break up a tag team, but you never go back to that until 2 weeks later, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, they did break up. And it's like because you've been focusing on certain stars, right? And then these certain stars are people that are from WWE, but you don't you don't have people gravitate to the talent that you got because we're so used to the talent that you got from WWE. So it's like I'm more fixated on that. And like one of the best talents to me is like okay, Swerve. I like Swerve. I like Hangman Page because I followed him with the guys that came up in AEW
Yeah.
and MJF. He's one of my favorites because of the fact that I've seen this man literally
Huh.
go from a guy I despise, and I still like the character. I'm not talking about the actual talent, but the character development in him is like you hate this guy. He's a pompous a-hole, but like he got a right to because he's like the new generation's Ric Flair kind of, because it's like he's great on the mic. He cheats to win. He does everything he needs to like, he's very smart in the ring. But then like him and Adam Cole kind of got buddy, and then it's like, oh, this guy got a, he got like a nice side to him or whatever. And it's like he kind of like grew with Adam Cole, and everybody's like, with MJF, and then Adam Cole turns on MJF, and then now you feel you feel sympathy towards MJF, and then he leaves because he got quote unquote injured or whatever, and then he comes back, he's a heel again, and his greatest work is as a heel. So like I have those handful of people, but then it's so much craziness around. Like it's just like I have to go through that just to get to y'all, and it's just like too much.
Yeah. I want to like it. But outside of the old WWE guys, and the handful of guys, Swerve, great heel. MJF, great heel. I think he's the second coming of Roddy Piper. I mean, just they've got great talents. But I really don't need to see Darby Allin get thrown through a plate glass window. I don't need to see, people, John Moxley taking a bump on nails. I don't need to see any of that.
I'm bringing my 6-year-old daughter to your show, and I literally have to explain to her why somebody's almost getting impaled. Like what the hell is? I mean, what the world is going on?
Yeah, and again, I get, I know, and there's so much like territorialness when it comes to wrestling fans nowadays.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
If you want to like that stuff, knock yourself out.
Yeah, by all means, that's what you want. You paid your hard-earned money to see that, then see that.
To go to the show, to buy the pay-per-view, to watch, weekly TV. I get it. I'm not going to make fun of you for that. I'm going to make fun of Tony Khan for some of his ridiculous, booking decisions.
He lets them run wild, and I get it. That's why some people go to AEW, because they have way more freedom over there with their characters and all this other stuff. But it's just like I start to see why WWE has been so successful for so long, because of the fact that they give you a rope, right? And they let you go as far as they want you to, but then they kind of like nudge you back, like, all right, you kind of, all right, let's dial it back a little bit here.
I just had to get that off my chest. I did not want to let this episode go by without.
Trust me, I'm right there with you. I'm just like, okay, this is all right. Yep, this is why I don't really necessarily care to spend my Wednesdays watching this.
Exactly. I've got better things to do on a Wednesday night at 8:00.
And it blows my mind, because I want to. I really do, because I like John Moxley. I like MJF. I like Edge. Like, I'm so glad Edge is back. Wrestling. It's just the fact that they did him dirty, quote unquote. Not they, but we know who. And I just hate the fact that it took so long and let so many great talent leave. And now we finally got Triple H running the show, and things are better now. It's just the fact that we lost everybody that we wanted to see back because of, dumbass. But,
Exactly. And don't get me wrong, I would love to see Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks run it back. That would make so much more sense than what they're doing with this Tiffany Stratton thing.
I freaking love that feud. Like, I love that feud, because it is pretty much what I really envision, like Rhea and Bianca to be, because it's like two polar opposites of each other, but their greatness, like it makes it's like two great ingredients to make a perfect cake. Because like Sasha was the one that, I had to come up from the dirt. I had to grind to get where I needed to be. I'm the CEO. I'm the CEO. I don't even know if she calls herself CEO in Raw. WWE. But either way, I'm the CEO.
The boss.
I'm the boss. Yes, I'm the boss. But then you got the queen. I rode my father's coattail. I'm riding that, but I had to prove why I am also a Flair, and I'm separate from my dad. I just learned the tricks of the trade from him, but I am more athletic and I'm better in the ring than him, basically. And then you had them two come together, and it was beautiful. And then like before we get off, I seen rumor that we may be getting Paige back. It's potential that she's gonna let a contract run out from AEW, and then we may get her back, which my fingers are crossed. That would be, and also on top of that, that would be awesome. But then also she may come back and she may end up intertwining and kind of being like, I would say the Paul Heyman to her, but like just basically that person that gives her the trick of the trades and stuff like this. But Rhea Ripley.
Shut up and take my money.
So that'd be big.
Yeah, that'd be big. Well, it's been another fun episode, my guy. Ready to do it next week?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, that'll do it for episode 6. For Dom, I'm Ryan. Until we eat again, this has been the Wrestling Roundtable Podcast, a presentation of Royal Hearts Media. Take care, y'all.